It all started on console, like most kids do. Then slowly, I started to get better and better, started competing, and boom, soon enough, I started to earn. My first major accomplishment was making console solo grands and then making console trio grands. From there, I bought a PC and continued competing. My PC career started to take off beginning with Frosty Frenzy, and then after I had a taste of being on the leaderboards, that's all I needed. I would play anything I could, from Sniper Shootout LTM tournaments to Skin Cups, just to get a taste of winning. And then I played Trio FNCS with Crisis in Park and made my first heats on PC in August 2021. Then 2 days later, made money in the Trio Cash Cup, and that's how my PC career started. I kept playing and improving, and then another huge milestone was winning my first PC Cash Cup in October of 2021. I continued to place in tournaments, and then Chapter 3 rolls around. Still staying consistent at this point. I started to find better teammates, and I ended up playing with 20 for FNCS in February of 2022. The next major milestone is my first grands on PC. And we ended up placing 31st overall, which is not bad. Next season comes around, I start playing with Snaz, and we do well, staying on top of the leaderboards. And then July 2022, competitive no builds is announced. This is where it starts to get crazy. This is where I meet Casker and Revised, and we start competing together. We ended up finally making money in one of the zero build cash cups, so that was really motivating going into the future of no build. And then they announced zero build squad cash cups. At this point, me and Revised are also starting to play our first duo league cups. For the squad cash cups, it was mostly me, Casker, and Revised. Then our fourth would change every week. It would either be Degen, Snaz, or Pump. So that was it. Every week on Friday night, 1 AM to 9 PM the next day, we were playing every region we could. Right out the gate, the first cash cup of the season, we placed 4th on East and 5th on West. Decent, but we knew our mistakes and set our expectations higher. Next week comes around and we place 2nd another week. The next week comes around, we place 2nd again. And then the next week we place 1st. So we're on a hot streak and we're doing pretty good. At the conclusion of the squad zero build tournaments, we had a total of 3 first, 3 top 3s, 6 top 5s, and 1 top 10, and that totaled up to $15,000. So that continues on for about 2 seasons. The squad cash cups, we just continue to keep running through the lobbies, continuing to place consistently in the top 5. And then we have about a 2-month break, and then Chapter 4 rolls around. We've been waiting for a competitive announcement at this point, and we're in early 2023, around February. And that's when Epic Games announced that there was going to be Duo FNCS and Elite Cups and Squad Zero builds for this season. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. So me and my longtime friend Crims decided to pack up our stuff, bring our PCs, and head to Virginia for 0 ping. Both of us have been about 40 ping. He's from Nebraska and I'm from Florida, so it's not the best for builds. So we decided to pack it up and go. So there I am, a 19-year-old kid with about $9,000 saved up from working in competitive, in my car heading 800 miles away from home to play video games. We found an apartment in Ashburn, Virginia. The rent was about $6,000 split for a month and a week. I know that is really high, but it was insanely hard to find a place that had good internet and was okay with us staying for such a short time. Keep in mind, as I'm doing all this, my best placement is a 31st in Grands back in Chapter 3 Season 1, and Revise has never made a Grands on PC, so we by no means are on anyone's radar. For builds, we were for sure the underdogs. But if I learned one thing from my experience, is that you can do anything you put your mind to. Hard work, motivation, and keeping your head down through the hard times, no matter what happens, is always going to lead to results. So the weeks go by, and we end up qualifying for Grands. We had made this split drop that no one thought would work. Not one team on any other region had landed here in any Grands. We were playing a different game, trying to outthink everyone from every aspect. And that's when we decided to bring Paper in as our coach for Grands. So we put hours in before the tournament, composed a good game plan, and prepared well. We ended up placing 5th overall and making $28,000 split. That's the most I've ever made at a tournament in this point. So there we were, mission accomplished, months of preparing and hundreds of hours to get a great achievement. So I go home, the season's over, and I'm thinking of what's next. And that's when Gamers8 announced this, a zero build duos tournament for $2,750,000 with 3 different qualifiers, the first in San Diego, the second in Dallas, Texas, and the third in Sweden. So it's time to hit the lab again and get to cooking strategies for a set lobby zero build tournament, which is something we have never seen before on this big of a scale. So you know I'm pumped. They announced one of the biggest tournaments of the year, and we are a top 3 no build squad already in the world at the time. So here I am in June with my family in San Diego, getting ready to play with Revised. We started San Diego off pretty hot, qualifying Heat 1, going straight to the finals. Finals come around and we try our best. We were the closest I think I've ever been to a qual last game. I got headshot sniped while sitting on max heals solo when we only needed about 10 points to qual, so we finished 12th. Still making $5,000, but it was a tragic way that we did not qual the last game. So back home I go. Another month until Dallas. There is another FNCS between San Diego and Dallas. So me and Revise play again. 3 weeks, 3 qualifiers, and we did absolutely terrible. It came to a point where we could no longer play. We were just too comfortable and couldn't take the game as serious as we once did. The end of an era. Debatably one of the best double controller duos statistically ever to compete. So I hit up Casker the week before Dallas DreamHack, and we decided to give it a shot. So we put work in, hours on hours. We think about every aspect of the game, loot paths, the best loadouts. We start playing Storm, which paths to rotate on each zones. We were grinding hard. We get to Dallas, the same thing as San Diego. First heat, start off hot. Qual again, straight to finals. Finals day rolls around, the same as before, and we start off hot. We got second place game 1 with some kills. Adrenaline's pumping, all my friends are there. We are locked in. We end up placing 10th overall, securing the last spot to one of the biggest lands and another $6,000. This was definitely one of the best moments of my life. Next thing you know, I'm going home. The land starts in about a month after this. I have a big problem though. I have to be in Saudi Arabia and don't have a passport. And for those of you that don't know, it takes a long time to usually get this done. I call them, they say it's going to take 2 to 3 months, and I do not have that kind of time. I ended up getting a 1-day appointment and had to be in El Paso, Texas in 1 day's time. And I live in Florida, so that's about a 25-hour drive, so I have to hit the road quick. So me, my uncle, and my cousin get in the car and we drive straight through, non-stop. I ended up making it, getting the passport, and now all that's left to do is I just have to prepare and just get ready. July 2nd comes around, and that's the day we fly to Saudi. Me and Casker are both from Florida, so we fly together. 24 hours later, and we arrive in Saudi. Kind of crazy to think about that 5 months ago, I'm at home in Florida, and now I'm in the middle of the desert playing for a $2 million prize pool. It was definitely an insane experience. So, we compete. 3 days, 3 tournaments, finishing 12th place overall, making another $21,000. And that's how Fortnite changed my life. I wanted to say a special thanks to all the boys in 1525, you guys know who you are, and my family for supporting me and making this possible.